I look hot. You look hot. We look hot.
I know. We came here to serve, because guess what? It's game time. Okay. Welcome to Ladies of the Ton.
Welcome to Ladies of the Ton.
Ladies of the Ton.
The Ladies of the Ton. Tis I, the queen.
Your mom. What? The queen.
You were gonna say your mama. Hey guys, welcome back to Ladies of the Ton. This is Maria.
And this is Orr, coming to you live. Ish.
We're not live, but
Yeah, let's pretend. From
Canada.
Ottawa.
Alright, and today we're gonna actually talk about
What is up with season 3?
mm-hmm.
Our feelings, our thoughts, our oh no moments, our moments that we screamed a lot in. Like there were moments where I literally burnt the mic. I was like, I screamed out loud because of how much it shocked me. So we're gonna go over some of that. We know that online there's a lot of talk about this season not being the best.
Yeah, it's like the least rated season so far.
Now that we have had some time to sit with it. Okay.
We have thoughts.
We have thoughts, and we are going to lay them out for you. First of all, This is a very spicy take. First, let's tell them how long it's been since we've watched the show. It's been almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks. We have had time to watch it and maybe rewatch it one other time. I did that. Did you?
No.
No, she is sitting with the first watch still. I have had time to go back and rewatch part 1 because I was like, I don't really remember what happened.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what actually happened? Because a lot of Cressida's plotline
Yeah.
was in the first half, and I was like, wait, I feel like I don't know anything about Cressida's plotline this season other than her randomly just pretending to be Lady Whistledown.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the big question that's been roaming around before this season even got released, is that was the decision to switch from like Benedict and Colin's season, so like in the books, the third book is Benedict's book and the fourth one is Colin's, but then the show, what they did is they did third season Colin, and I don't think they're gonna do Benedict
Next season. It's
Yeah.
probably gonna be Francesca.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't mind personally, but like I do know a lot of people did mind. I do want to see like Sophie. And I do want to like see Benedict grow up because he's my favorite brother. Like out of all of them, he's my favorite brother, especially with the way he is with Eloise. And it's just like I want to see him mature up, like settle down,
Become a man.
Exactly. He already is one, but like a mature one, you know?
I mean, I don't think he even needs a Bridgerton makeover. He just is that girly pop.
He's good looking.
He is, yeah.
All of them are, but him.
Yeah. Me, I personally am not the biggest fan of this change, this breakup with the books. Because I think Polin, like Penelope and Colin, the couple, they needed a bit more time. I know a lot of people are like, they've been sitting in the background, they've been simmering for too long, and it was time, like, the viewers couldn't take enough of them. But I'm like, if you go back to season 1 and season 2, it's like they're almost never unchaperoned. They're always like, she's trying to talk and gets interrupted by Eloise. That's like a gag that's been going on since day one, right? And Colin looks at her like lovingly, and then it's like, oh, Pen, you're my friend. So I think they needed. It's just, the thing is, I've read enough Friends to Lovers, and it just felt like they were not caring about this for the first 2 seasons, and rightfully so, because it wasn't their season. And the couples in the first and second seasons, their story deserves to be more fleshed out. Yeah. But then it was like, out of nowhere, it's like she asks him to kiss her, and then he's obsessed. You see, like it's like almost overnight, the thing just changed. Their whole dynamic changed.
Yeah.
And it's also like, okay, it's also after she had a makeover. So
that
like, what's the message here? Yeah. What's the message here, Shanda?
So, like, I do agree with that. It is, because it is giving that whole, like, ugly duckling makeover into, you know, the pretty hot girl. And that's when she gets the guy, which obviously is, like, problematic with a lot, like, a lot of reasons for like, a lot of reasons.
Did you see, I went back to watch the first episode of, like, the entire show, season 1, and I saw Penelope, and I'm like, but, like, the makeup? What's going on?
Yeah, like, they really, glowed down. They glowed her down.
They glowed her down, like, it was, like, completely different person. So, I don't know. I wish we saw a little bit more of that in a season, like they did in the books. In the 3rd book, you'd see excerpts of, like, oh, like, Penelope is doing this, Colin is doing that, in Benedict's book. And I think that's how it should have been. They should have been a side plot in Benedict's or Eloise's season.
Or even Francesca. Like, if they didn't want Benedict's season to be that, like, right away.
Because they don't want him to settle down.
Yeah, I think that's what it is
I wish we saw them as kids.
Yeah, we never got to see them meet up. We never got their childhood moments, because that's one of the major things is why Eloise also feels betrayed by both Colin and Penelope, is because they did hang out and play together as kids before Colin went off on his escapades.
Twice. For what reason? He went on his escapade twice, and I think he went to Greece again. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
And, like, Penelope was always to Eloise like, no, he's just, like, a friend. And Colin was the same exact way. The only difference is Colin actually believed it as a kid. Penelope always had a crush. Which is another thing that I also had, like, a bit of, like, issue with, is that he didn't do enough to earn her.
He was just, it's like, he ran out of options, and she was just there. That was the vibe. It
almost felt like that. And then, like, she
had
her
better version or whatever.
Exactly, like, she had her glow up, and all of a sudden she forgets all of the things that he said about her. Like, it's just kind of like, girl, have a little bit more self-esteem.
That's the thing. It didn't sit well with us as we were watching it, too. And I think that's why when we were watching part 1, we were like, there was just something unsettling about the way Penelope just asks him. And that's exactly how it happens in the books. But there's more before that.
Before that, yeah. There is
because
more.
There is this other book 3 that they chose to skip. And we see behind the scenes and them talking and them sharing about, like, things about being writers. And all of that is done before. So, yeah, the Polin thing, the rushing of the chemistry, just I'm like, oh, why? Because I am a slow burn girly.
Yeah.
And if you are a fan of Bridgerton, you are too.
Most likely, yeah.
Right? Because we could just, like, we can go watch Game of Thrones, or we can watch another show. Like, why do we like Bridgerton so much? It's because there's decorum in courtship. There's more time you have to actually earn to be there.
There's chemistry, there's tension, there's that, like, feeling of, like, are they going to? Will they not?
Will they? Won't they? Like,
exactly.
We want that, not her begging to be kissed. And
yeah. Like, I wanted him to beg her to take him back.
You know,
like,
the amount of memes on TikTok I saw where people are like, oh, like Penelope, day 1, she's not dramatic at all. Day 2, Colin, please kiss me. I might die.
I know.
Oh, what do you mean?
I am nearly on the shelf and I have never been kissed and I am not certain I ever will be. I could die tomorrow.
You're not going to die tomorrow.
But I could and it would kill me.
You would already be dead.
I do not wish to die without ever having been kissed.
You're gonna die, you're like 20 something.
Okay, like, I'm not gonna judge the girl. Let's start there. But I wanted him to beg her to take him back because he messed up. His jealousy, his insecurities were the reasons why the relationship started to break apart.
Yeah, his comments at the end of season 2 that she overheard.
Exactly. Why, like, she should have made him suffer a little bit. That would have made me, and I feel like a lot of people, happier, like having him suffer and pining against her and all that.
I mentioned, like, what are the key elements of, like, a good Jane Austen male lead? And I think Bridgerton, a lot of the times, at least in the books, I saw that the author builds that image for the guy. And one of the key elements is pining.
Yeah.
Not, he kissed her and the kiss was so good that he can't, like, is he a teenager?
He can't help himself.
This man almost in his 30s, like, what do you mean he got enamored by a kiss?
No, Colin's younger than Anthony. Yeah, no, that was my major issue. He should have been on his knees, begging.
He wasn't even on his knees. He was like, are you gonna marry me or not? And that's directly from the books, by the way.
I know, but like, the carriage scene, I don't mind too much because he still hadn't messed up at that point as bad as he did later on. But I still, like, that carriage scene, I was like, okay, like, I'm guessing Penelope's gonna get him to, like, do a lot of things. He's gonna buy her flowers. Like, he's gonna do the proper courtship, right? We didn't get that. And I was like, okay, whatever. Then he messes up and he doesn't grovel on the ground for forgiveness. So it's like 2 things in a row where I'm like...
And on top of that, he, like, let's talk about Colin's new look, his makeover.
His glow up.
Why is being a rake always part of the glow up? Like, I don't think it was, like he's supposed, Violet is like, you're the most sensitive of my kids. And he's, like, out there winking at women he barely knows at his sister's debut.
Yeah, you're right. It was out of all the places too.
It
all
gave
the
me
time.
the ick like never before.
Yeah, because he was showing, like, a maturity to a next level. No, like, it wasn't okay. And Penelope's there in the back being like, Colin, like, no, girl. You got a career. You are a successful writer. He's the one that needs to be chasing you. Like, you're the catch, not him.
And he's not even a good writer. Because guess who had writer's block? And I even mentioned it in our reaction. Like, oh, he's not
Penelope also gets writer's block.
Yes, that's true. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he needed her help to write his, like, book.
Yeah, he did.
So
after he finally got over his freaking jealousy, which I'm saying, like, that was a cute speech,
yes,
but it wasn't enough.
I am a big fan of that speech because it's
but it
hard
wasn't
for
enough.
It wasn't enough. I needed more, just like that speech. But I know it's hard to compare it to I cannot breathe when you are not near. It's hard to compare it to something like that, but try to aim for it, girl. What's going on? It's like, I'm not even talking about, like, I burned for you.
Yeah, which was Daphne who said that.
Daphne who said that, yes. But even that was, like, it's considered a start, right? And then Anthony's one is good, and then George, like, just takes it out of the park. And, like, with Colin, I feel like they didn't even try.
No, exactly. Like, they didn't. Even Kate, in Kate's storyline, she put more of a fight up than Penelope did. Like, she actually made Anthony earn her.
Yeah. That's also Anthony's
made him earn her. Exactly.
He wants a mommy.
He wants a strong, independent woman that whoops him.
In horse riding and everything. Anyway.
But Penelope was just kind of like, she just quite literally bent over.
Yep.
And it was so frustrating because I just, like, I want to be like, girl, like, you give, like, some of the best speeches about women and women's struggles. Make that man earn you. Don't just be like, oh, I forgive you. No. Be
It's
like,
not enough.
I need space. Take a step back. And then make him chase you.
Yeah, because I think she literally has wealth beyond any of these people have in their personal accounts or whatever, right? That's what they were trying to say. It's like she is well off from Whistledown, so she doesn't really need to
Get married.
Yeah, I understand her. She's in love with Colin, but he is not selling it to me properly.
Exactly. She needed to get a little bit of Kate's, like, spine and whip that poor boy.
Or even Daphne, when Simon was like, I can't do this thing anymore. Literally less than 10 hours later, she is like, oh my, like, she secured a prince. And she knew exactly what to do, climbs on the little staircase, looking stunning, wears a color that's like no one else is wearing, and it's like a Cinderella moment
baddie,
almost.
And, like, exactly, like, she didn't bend over.
And Simon is like, oh damn, what did I do?
He immediately regretted his decision. She was like, you know what, like, you want to do that? I'm gonna show you why it's a bad idea.
I'm gonna show you what you lost.
And Kate was the same way, where she was like, oh, you think I'm going to want you? Even though she did want him. But, like, she wasn't gonna let him know.
We saw that look at the pier or something, like the river.
When he gets out.
She's like, ooh, it's improper to stare. And Edwina's, really? You're staring. But yeah, I really think that season 3 should have been both of their season. Like, you know how we saw flashback of how Anthony's dad died and how it affected him, and his flashback with his mom, and his whole thing about he doesn't want to go near the place where his I'm talking about grief. This girl was like, shrimp fries. Yeah, like he can't even go near his dad's grave, and like it's character building. We see Simon being raised by Lady Danbury, having a stutter. These are important elements for us to be sad when the male lead is sad, when he's pining. We are pining with him. We feel sorry for him.
Well,
what did we see of Colin?
Exactly. Like with Anthony.
That time was given to the Mondrich Plot, all these other plots. And is it even their season? Like, what's going on?
Exactly. Like with Anthony, we actually started to be like, Kate, give him a chance. Like, Kate, you know, be nice.
Yeah.
Here, we're like Penelope.
Why are you giving him so much
why are you
leeway? Yeah, like, why are you letting him run all over the town? And he's having threesomes after threesomes. Like, the threesome? Whoever is in charge of this season has a thing for threesomes, don't you? I know you. I see you. Because what's going on? Speaking of showing, like, old like flashbacks, I wish we saw how Violet and Edmund met. Imagine they show it in, like, Queen Charlotte season 2.
Like, we see Violet as a kid before she gets debuted.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that was one of the things that we were talking about, how we need
a meet cute
of
the OG Bridgerton couple.
Like, we got Queen Charlotte's background with Farmer George. We need Edmund and Violet's, because that, I just know their love story is incredible.
It's gonna eat so hard. Also, one thing I realized as I was doing research for this video, as I was doing research, is that she actually, in part 2, when, you know, two of her kids, Francesca and Colin, are starting to settle down, and she has those Violet mommy moments of, like, gives advice and changes their entire way of solving a problem. She tells Francesca that her and Edmund, they met, it was like quick, unexpected, and next thing you know, they're married. It wasn't like a love match at all, and that's why she wants that. Like, she fell in love later, kind of like Queen Charlotte. That was the undertone, at least, of what she said. She was like, when I met your father, it was like how it usually goes. It was quick, it was unexpected, and it just happened. But then this woman goes to Colin and she's like, when Colin is like, didn't you say friendship is the best like starting ground, I guess, for love? She's like, yeah, I mean, that's what happened for you and your father and I, at least. So she is going around giving different stories. I understand why she's molding the story a little bit to suit each of the kids of what they're going through. Because for Francesca, it was out of nowhere and it was sudden how she just randomly got married. And everyone is like, did you guys even want that one? We're gonna edit her, just her sound. I'm just talking, but no noise. It's just her going like. Speaking of voices, is Julie Andrews gonna come back? Because I really like her voice as Whistledown, and I think it gives the. I can't take you serious. We're gonna leave the whole thing in. But I think she really carries the vibe of the show almost. And I don't want her to be a thing of the past, because at the end of part 2 we saw Penelope kind of taking over the voiceover, and she ends it with, yours truly, Penelope Bridgerton, which is all cute and nice. But does that mean Julie Andrews is not gonna come back?
That's the thing, yeah. It's an iconic voiceover.
And like, she is an iconic
woman,
yeah.
Exactly. And I've always kind of like heard Julie Anderson's
Andrews,
thank you. Julie Andrews voiceover, like her version of Lady Whistledown as like the older Penelope.
It kind of, you know how there are some things like in Game of Thrones when you hear the HBO logo and then it goes zzz, and then you hear da na 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 na.
It kind of helps you enter the mind space. The fictional, it's like a door, it's a pathway. You enter and you're in that world. And I think
for Bridgerton, I don't even remember what the theme song is. All I remember is I hear dearest gentle reader, like in her accent, in Julie Andrews' voice. So I don't know how I feel about that not being a thing.
I don't want her to go.
But it was so weird because the whole point is that it's anonymous and then she's reading it. So it makes sense. But now it's like we see Penelope writing it. Everyone in the town knows it's Penelope writing. But we still hear Julie Andrews. Like,
if they try to be like that's Penelope as an older version, maybe they could still keep her like Julie Andrews.
That's a good idea. Write it down, Shondaland.
The way they switched over to like Penelope's actress, Nicola, I do think they're gonna switch it.
I hate when Netflix does it, when the first few seasons are like something and then out of nowhere it becomes something else.
It's like, change. Why?
Speaking of something else, I'm just gonna talk about this literally maximum 30 seconds. The Mondrich Plot. Waste of our time looking at their struggles in season 1 and 2, because out of nowhere it's like MacGuffin. Like, you have
they got a lot of things.
Their son casually is left with all the money in the world. Like, what?
An estate, a lordship, a allowance. Like, yeah, you're right.
Them having a fighting pit, like them having in season 2, the whole thing behind their bar and setting it up. The bar, is that what it is? Or lounge?
It's the Gentleman's Club.
Yeah, they spent a considerable amount of cash on it. They spent a lot of energy. She was like, I'm gonna work with you even though women don't work. She was like supporting him through all his endeavors. And out of nowhere, it's like, oh.
I get like the whole like rags to riches, but I was liking the original rags to riches of them, where they were essentially working their way to it.
It was our one thing, like, behind the like golden, amazing, stunning castles. It was the one part of the story that was like relatable.
It was very relatable. It was also very like, how do I say, like their story, their struggles was inspiring at the same time.
Yeah, because it's hard to, it's kind of rare to see a couple
together
willing to work with each other to build themselves up together. And it's very reminiscent of what we might go through in our lifetime, right? Speaking
Especially in this economy.
this time, the entire time plot, cut it out, give it to Colin, because that character needs more fleshing out this season. It is his season. Give some of that time plot to Colin.
Yeah.
Right? That would have been the way to do it. The Mondriches could I mean, I see them coming across wealth, but it could be like at a time where they were like destitute, you know? Where they were like, there's no other way, we're done. And then hit them with that wealth and show us some good acting and, you know?
Yeah.
That would make more sense. Speaking of things that don't make sense.
Like, you have to give up. What? Sorry, what doesn't make
I
sense?
was gonna say, how I understand, Phoebe, you don't want to come back for season 3. How is Miss Daphne Bridgerton not present at either of her brother and her sister's weddings? What's up with that?
Yeah, we don't even get the grandkids.
They could be like, Daphne's in the other room. She just ate. Like, they could easily do something like that, right?
Yeah, they could have been like, oh, she's running late. Oh, she's, like you said, like in another room. Or, oh, she's...
Had to leave early. Million things. Because we don't see the wedding scene. We just see the walking down the aisle, which is mostly focused on Penelope and Colin. So we don't really see the family as much. So I can see it being done, or at least mention it. They're pretending like she doesn't even exist. Right?
Yeah, it's almost like Daphne is not even part of the sibling set anymore. Like, okay, I get it. Actors have other commitments, other things they want to do. I get it. But that's also why, like, if you're reading a script and you're reading a manuscript, like, keep in mind, like, and it's based on books. So the books are out way before the TV show was, obviously.
Yep.
That means, like, there was enough material for the actors to be like, okay, like, this is going to be a long-term investment, like a long-term project. And it would have been nice to, like, have a little bit, like, you know, 5 minutes here and there. Not a lot. Just for, like, them to pop in and then leave so that it's not, a huge commitment, but it's still, like, in the show. They're still there.
Yeah, or like pre-shooting or something.
That too,
but
yeah.
clearly, I feel like with how the show is going, they've put a lot of focus in one season, and they don't do a lot of like thinking about the future.
Yeah, they want to end up at the last season and, like, all of the original characters are no longer there.
Yeah, or like none of the things that they showed us before, which we were like, okay, it's gonna lead up to something, actually was useless, and this new season is something completely different.
Exactly.
That brings us to the Michaela Sterling of it all. We're gonna leave that for another episode, like a more in-depth conversation about it, because I know there's a lot of people can't even breathe or eat because this is going on, and what an injustice. So we're gonna address this dramatic reaction.
Yeah. My main thing is, like, does that mean we're not really gonna get the cute, sweet things between Francesca and John Sterling? Like, are we not gonna have any of, like, that sweet relationship that they built together, and the reason why Francesca was actually pretty heartbroken when John dies? Because it's like...
Because she already kind of fell for him.
Or her.
Her. That's true. But we're going to talk about this more in depth in another episode, because I could talk about this for 5 hours in a row. There's so much to uncover, because you're not just changing the plot, you're changing the essence of the story almost.
A lot of things.
So it's like going to be a brand new story, which is fine, but I wish we got that story in the book on screen.
Because the book version is actually very, very cute and very sweet. Like, Francesca does build a very strong relationship with John before she even starts to fall in love with Michael. And that was the whole thing, is that she felt guilty for falling in love with Michael after John's death. Right? That was one of, like, the biggest internal dialogues and internal issues for her.
But, you know...
And they also rushed like, I know they put her in the background, and that's why they rushed through her and John's courting.
Meet cute.
But they also rushed it. They rushed Penelope's and Francesca's courting. And it was
I
like...
still understand Francesca. Oh, I'm gonna go back. This is gonna be the hill I die on. We needed more from the main couple.
Yes, yeah.
Other than just sending them off to press tours to answer BuzzFeed questions. I need more of them in the actual show.
Yeah, we got way more content outside of the show than in the show. And that's what I'm saying. Is like, if you're gonna rush 2 love stories, what's the point? Like, we're here for the love. We're here for the romance. We want the butterflies in our stomach. We want to be like, oh my God, right?
The slower the burn.
The sweeter the berry. No, that's another saying.
Something is better. Let's just say that. Speaking of better things, let's talk about things we actually liked, because I feel like we've been for 34 minutes now.
Oh, damn. Penelope's goal, her
body,
hair,
her everything.
Like,
Nicola.
Can we talk about that emerald green dress? It gave everything.
It gave everything it needed to give. The love scenes also gave exactly what I imagined in the book. So.
Yeah, the love scenes were so well done. And if you don't know why by love scenes, I mean the...
No, I'm sure they understand.
Especially that mirror one.
Got us. You should see our reaction to it is live. And we become like,
different.
Like construction workers oogling at...
Ooh, that's a stereotype.
That is a stereotype, and we were those stereotypes in that moment, because the way my eyes, like I in the edit room, I was just looking at myself like, what's wrong with you? You need help. Get yourself some help. Like, I was just like,
yeah, we were like the drug addicts,
like getting fed cold.
I think at one point I was like, now I don't know if I told you or if I kept it in my head. I need to watch that. But anyways,
I said it out loud because we were...
I was like, there was a lot of stuff I said out loud that I'm regretting.
we were a little in a different dimension.
But like when I remember being like the mirror scene and I saw the mirror, I was like, oh, the mirror is gonna happen. The mirror scene is gonna happen. And then I don't know if I said it out loud or in my head, but I was like, one day I'm gonna do that.
Oh, Tima!
One day I'm gonna get my own personal mirror scene. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Until then, I shall watch Colin and Penelope.
Polin.
I call Polin.
Yes. Another thing, and this is another one of those hills that I die on, is Portia. Portia was so much better and so much more fleshed out this season. She was her own person and not this like caricature of bad mom or like, like the comic relief mom. She was more. The scene of her talking to...
I'm trying to hide it.
Yeah. The scene of her talking to Penelope and telling her that we are women and women don't have a lot of choices. Your dreams are going to be fulfilled through your husband. And I think that was the first moment of this season when I cried. Because that
was beautiful.
That was true for her. And she said your father was cruel, and you were like, yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
And that, like, just that scene itself, but also like her entire journey this season to almost losing the Featherington estate, and then finally, she was the first parent, by the way, who actually had the sex talk with her kids, as funny as it was. She was like, when he inserts it where? Inserts
himself where?
Philippa was so cute this season. Yes, and you know that actress is dating Benedict's actor. Yeah, they're cute. I can see them looking cute.
Yeah, they absolutely. She came through. Both sisters came through, and it really shows that parenting creates the child, because when Portia decided to do some self-evaluation and decided to grow and be a better mother as well as a better human being, you can then see that reaction, like that decision being correlated into her daughters, all three of them, not just Penelope, because Penelope was able to get a mother that actually listens. But then Philippa and
Philippa and Prudence.
And Prudence also became better sisters too, where Philippa was like, at the end of the season, she looked at her baby and she's like, you're gonna be a amazing writer and you don't need a husband. Like, and it was so like heartwarming, because it just shows that she now believes in her sister and she's actually okay with allowing her daughter to follow in the same steps.
Exactly. Check out our Parents of Bridgerton episode. Should be out by now. If it's not out by now, then I don't even know what.
No. That
should be out by now, right?
It will be out by this.
Yeah, so we go more in depth about the parents in the show and their dynamics and how that kind of translates into a healthy childhood and becomes almost like a cycle where they become healthy parents and grows and grows.
It's almost like when you grow something in a healthy way, it will bear good fruit.
That was it. That's it. That's all. Bye. Okay, no. What do you think season 4 is gonna be about?
I think it's going to be Francesca's.
There was originally like talks that they were saying that it was going to be Colin and then Benedict, and they were saying that like they were switching the two essentially. But now with the way season 3 ended and like the introduction of Michaela Sterling, which is Francesca's love interest, I'm getting the sneaking feeling that that's going to be Francesca's season next season.
But who do you think, and as far as you've seen the show and read the books, like been a fan, who would you want naturally to have next season?
Benedict and Sophie. I'm so ready for Sophie to like be introduced, because she's the one that I can relate to the most. Where she's worked hard, she's still working hard when Benedict meets her, and
she desperately needs that Bridgerton name.
But Sophie actually tells him, like, I don't need you. Like, she pushes him away. And it's kind of like, despite her kind of needing him, like you said, desperately needs the Bridgerton name, she really said, like, no, like, if you're not going to treat me the way I want to be treated, I don't need you.
Because he was being sneaky. He wasn't telling people that he's with her. Like, there's this whole plot.
Exactly.
If you want to read it, you go ahead. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil it.
Me, personally, I don't know. I want Eloise to have her season on. Eloise just been sitting in the background talking about feminism and women's
but not even
rights
actually doing it.
And feeling like a cattle and this and that. And then the Theo thing happened last season, which I was like, okay, nice. They gave her a little side plot. That was ruined by Miss Penelope, so that's done with. I think it's time, because she's been just sitting there. She is older than Francesca, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And she also, like, okay, this is your spoiler alert, but if you've watched this far, you already know everything. But her love interest has been introduced in season 1.
Yeah.
That is Sir Philip.
And I hope he gets a glow up, because I'm so sorry. I was kind of disappointed.
Oh, damn.
So
no one is supposed to look as hot as the main leads of that season, and it's very hard to compete with Reggae John Page. Right? So I understand, and I have full faith, because he's not a bad looking person. So he's
not bad looking.
Yeah, so I can totally see him being like Colin. I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah, see, like, that's the thing, is like, when I saw him, like, Eloise's love interest, I was kind of like disappointed. I felt let down, but that's because we saw Daphne and Simon, and I'm sorry, but they blew me away.
It's hard to compete with that, especially if it's their season.
Yeah.
I was actually rewatching it the other day with someone, and they were like, every time he walks in, he gives daddy energy. And it's true, because he just owns the room. He wears a different, like a velvety red maroon color. No one is wearing that. Everyone's wearing black, white, you know, the men. And he just walks in like he owns the room. And I think Anthony also did that in season 2.
Yes.
The glow up went hard. But he achieved that. Every room he would walk into, his jawlines, just the way he would talk, his sniffing of Kate, everything just gave what it needed to give. With Colin, like I said, it kind of got lost a little bit, but I totally see it happening with Sir Philip.
Yeah.
He had an interesting little cameo in season 2 when Colin goes to visit Marina. For no reason. Literally, Colin was like, what did you do in season 2? Nothing.
Yeah, and like essentially when Marina, you know,
The
leaves
plot.
this world,
yes.
that's when Eloise and him start to like have a thing.
Yeah, so now we see Eloise go to Scotland with her.
With Francesca, yeah.
But I'm like, does Sir Philip live in Scotland?
Marina, no.
They live close, right? They don't live in Scotland.
Because Colin visited, so it must be close by.
Editing room, let us know if we're right or not.
Yeah, we need to do some
Some
recon.
Okay, let's play a little game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I wanted to do like come up with like descriptors and say what Bridgerton family member or like sibling it goes with.
Oh, that's a damn.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Okay.
I came up with when I was taking a shower at 2 a.m. last night.
Again?
That's all the time when I take
You
a
took
shower.
a shower again at 2 a.m.?
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Game time!
Let's just start with bitter.
Is it like any character in the Bridgerton series?
The
or
siblings.
The siblings.
Yeah.
Bitter. Eloise, I guess.
Yeah, she was a little bitter this season.
Yeah,
she was giving bitter, especially when she was like, I can't believe you're marrying my brother. And he doesn't even know. He's not going to love you until he knows. Okay, brilliant.
Brilliant. Oh, but like to me, they're all brilliant because they're all highly educated group of individuals.
I think Penelope. Technically, she's a Bridgerton now.
Yeah, you're right.
Penelope
You said
is
siblings.
brilliant. That's
It's
true.
siblings.
I'm recognizing. Okay. Lazy.
That could be Benedict.
Benedict has been giving lazy, especially in season 2 when he got high out of his mind at the dinner table.
Like when him and Eloise are like talking on the couch and he's just like, you know.
Oh, this one is good. Questionable.
Questionable. Daphne gave some questionable things.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're talking about Anthony.
No, honestly, I was gonna say Daphne too.
Yes?
That if you know that exact scene.
Yeah, Daphne had her moments. Let's leave it at that.
The whole forcefully taking his baby, attempting. That was not it.
That like
Questionable
FYI,
decision.
That's SA because he said no. He
Yes.
did not give his consent.
Yes.
So yeah, questionable would be Daphne.
Practical. Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony.
Until he saw Kate. Then he was like, practical what? Logic out the window. Adventurous.
Oh, Colin. I would
Colin,
say.
yeah. All these Greece trips, all the... Paris, all these women. Miserable.
Miserable.
Violet these days. She really needs some...
But she's not the sibling. She's the mom.
I'm just saying all Bridgertons at this point.
Yeah, Violet, but like I wouldn't say miserable. I would say more like she just doesn't want her babies to go. What's that word?
She's like...
Like she's like holding on tightly.
Yeah, she's almost scared to let go, right?
Yeah, scared.
Yeah, but I meant miserable as in like in the bedroom. She's miserable these days. She almost asked a footman to lay on top of her, if you don't remember, in Queen Charlotte. It's like, what do you mean lay on top of you? Okay.
That's just thirsty.
That's just a little... that's
just thirsty.
I feel you.
Not miserable. We all go through those moments, okay? Anyways, next.
Precious.
Oh, I would say Hyacinth.
I know, she's so little and cute, and she runs around. Although she's growing up these days.
She's 17. The actress is 17 now.
She's growing up. Even like in season 3, I think some of her little comments and stuff that she used to do before were very childish. Whoa, the sun is out. And now she's almost like more coming into her own.
Yeah, she's starting to grow into a woman, a fine young lady.
Scornful.
I would say Eloise again.
No, Eloise is getting all the bad ones this season. Eloise is scornful.
Yeah.
Outside of all the Bridgerton people, I think scornful would be Cressida this season. Or maybe I'm scornful of her.
I mean, Cressida's not a Bridgerton, so now we're going into the characters.
No. I just wanted to mention one character that just gives me the vibes.
Oh, okay.
Scrumptious. All of them. All of them are scrumptious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say that,
Tense.
Anthony
was so tense. He needed
his emotional support, Kate.
I love that.
I would say joyful is Gregory, because Gregory is always smiling and he's always like in a good mood in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's learning how to be a man. It's very cute.
Yay.
Zesty. Ooh, Benedict, because apparently he likes dudes too now.
He is bisexual. I'm trying to do like the. Okay, never mind.
He has become zesty. How do we feel about that?
At first, which you got it in the reaction. At first, I was like, I hope he's not doing it for a girl, because never do something for another person. It's not authentic. It's not coming from you, from within. But then afterwards, when like I actually saw that he was happy with it and he actually liked the experience, I was like, okay, never mind. Like, good for him. He decided to take a leap of faith, and he realized, oh, okay, like this leap of faith is a good one. And I like that.
But do you remember how it ended? It ended with the woman wanting more from Benedict.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I'm not going to invite my friend Paul. And he was like, why not?
And he was like, I don't want you alone.
I think it could be just us. And he was like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for something serious.
Exactly. Which is ironic, because at the beginning he was wanting something serious with her, but then once he realized that like she was essentially getting what she wanted when she wanted it, it kind of like put him off and it turned him off, right?
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, okay, why would I keep going with a person that's intrinsically selfish?
That's true.
He doesn't like selfish people. That's something I've noticed.
He's a good person.
He is. He's a good person, but he's just not ready, I guess.
He's not ready.
Like, I wanted to say something else, but then I'm like, I don't want to be mean to Benedict.
I've been hearing these words a lot in the last few years, where men aren't ready, and then suddenly the right woman comes around and their light turns on.
Which is bull. Okay? It's complete and utter bull. Because if, as a woman, for example, if I know I'm not going to be able to invest into somebody, why would I waste that person's time?
But men, I mean, I think love to waste women's time.
But like, at least with Benedict, he knows to tell. Like, he told her he could have wasted.
He was
her
up
time.
front. He's like, no, that's
exactly.
not. He could have been like, oh, okay, and then just like hung out with her a little bit more,
strung her along,
because she was a catch. Like, she was a woman living by herself. She was
making bank.
She was making bank. She was a scientist.
No, she was an opera singer. No, she wasn't the opera singer. She was
Here
the
we go
actress.
again with
She was the actress.
the opera singer. She's gonna come back again and again. You know that actress who played the opera singer she was in Game of Thrones?
As well?
She was, a little Easter egg. She was the face that Arya Stark wore when she served Lord Walder Frey his sons. That is Sienna from Bridgerton season 1. It's the same actress.
Yo, you have a good eye. I did not see that.
And you know how I know that? Because I commented that on TikTok, like literally 2 years ago or something. On that exact scene was posted on TikTok. And I hadn't rewatched Game of Thrones in a while, right? So I forgot the little faces. And then I saw that and I was like, and I just watched Bridgerton season 1 at the time. It was 2020, or end of 2020. And I was like, I commented, is that Sienna from Bridgerton? And people were like, yes! Yes! Our little crossover has happened.
But they're already here, my lord. Here, my lord.
More than once, because that's the second time then.
Because the first, that's the first time, and then the second time was when
Queen
Michelle Fairley, who plays Lady Catelyn Stark, decided to just pop in as Charlotte's
Queen
mother-in-law.
Yeah, the Queen Mother. Mother Dowager?
Yes. Nocturnal, I can see Eloise and Benedict because of their little swing and smoking conversations.
Yeah.
I love their little swing moments.
I do. They're like those little sibling moments that we get between those two are everything.
Yeah.
They're everything.
Yeah, and it also, I remember when in season 1, I saw Eloise smoking, and I'm like, this girl doesn't know how a child is made, but she is smoking a cigarette. What a fun time.
I mean, she found out after.
I don't think she still knows.
She has an idea now, girl.
Yeah, all these books are probably, but books at the time, they wouldn't talk about that.
And if they did, they would be banned or put like under the forbidden list.
Quirky. Anthony was so like big boy energy this season, like golden retriever energy.
And remember that part in the carriage where like Kate is like looking outside and she's like nervous because they're gonna go to the family and tell them that she's pregnant.
And he's just like
puppy, big puppy eyes.
He just gets it. He just does it for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I happen to be named Kate and I happen to marry someone named Anthony, I would be like...
She would never let it go.
I would never let it go.
She would never let it go.
I would become them.
Literally, actually. Because Kate is South Asian. You're South Asian.
Yes.
So you just need to find a cute little, white boy. Named Anthony.
Named Anthony. True. True.
And
on that note, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, so thank you for listening in to whatever number podcast. Eventually, once we start posting, we will know what number this one is.
But remember, every Wednesdays, you can hear us lose our minds over the world of Bridgerton.
And this is Maria and Orr, Ladies of the Ton, getting out.
LOTT.
Ladies of the ton. Woo! Let's go. Man, you hit a rest, now you playing with a wand. Welcome to the podcast, Ladies of the Tons. I'm Jane Austen with a little bit of funk, a whole lot of spice. Get the drinks pouring, grab snacks, get drunk, get tipsy. Woo! Fiction or romance, it be getting sexy with Orr and Maria. Euphoria, yeah, get lost in every story you hear. Bridgerton, delicious fun. Thank you to everyone for switching on. Tuning in, now let's get it on. Yeah.
Bye! I forgot to do this. I have to do this.